Hello, what up, and welcome to Pregaming with Bordzy, live from downtown Edmonton, Friday night, Greta Bar Yag for Flight Night. Happy you could join us this evening. It's an early edition of Pregaming. It's been an early edition of Pregaming all week. But Coombsy, as you just said before, it's never too early for some mid-afternoon coffees, as you might be able to tell. Brett is behind the camera, also cheersing as well, so
cheers.
A good old cup of Joe to start it off with the Greta Corporation. You can't really see that well, but shout out to Greta Corp because they are awesome. And hello and welcome. Pre-gaming is a presentation of Sherwood Ford the Giant and Bet365, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Let's get caught up in the chat. But before we do the chat here in front of us, I've got two of my OGs right here in front of me, Lance Kane and Sergeant Battle. They're already down here for Flight Night at Greta. Lance gave me a hug. He's wearing his orange and blue rhinestone studded jacket that he always is. Gave him one hug. You know me, I embraced that shit real hard. And instantly my skin was imprinted all over the place. That's how you like it. Also, Sergeant Battle. Fellow Nate RTA, not alum because he's currently in school. You always got to pay it back to the youth. I actually did an interview with Sergeant Battle the other day about Stan Bowman and his deadline plans and everything, how it went. But let's get caught up in the chat because it's Sasky Girl Oil fan is in and says, fire us up, Bordzy. We need a ringleader during this slump. You're going to like that because the energy we're bringing today, we have been severely, severely negative as of late for good reasons. But you tune into this show for positivity, coffees as well, of course, and the good vibes that we're going to bring all night long. It's not too late to get down here to Greta as well because we are giving away 2 seats on the Nation Vacation. Fighting Amish says, let's freaking go, people. Going to manifest a big Oilers win tonight. What else we got in here, Kiana? See, everybody's feeling it. It's Friday night. Don't make me sing Rebecca Black. But let's get the positive vibes up in here. Up in this bitch is what I imagined she was saying. Feeling a dub tonight. See all you wonderful people at Greta. For those coming out, also follows it up with Cup Yeah.
Cup, yep.
Coombsy.
Cup, yeah.
There it is. Thank you very much, Amanda. It's fine. Everything is fine. She says she wishes she could pop into Greta, but we're in town for Jelly Roll, so you won't have time. I think Jelly Roll's doing multiple concerts this weekend in Edmonton. Either way, we'll be here after Jelly Roll and after this game because they just did $100,000 worth of renovations. We'll talk in a second. There are so many new awesome games here, and one specifically that might be overtaking the football game for this group. Bo, Greta, here I come. Always excited to see him crush a couple beers with Bo. Shout out. He got me beers for Christmas. What have you done in the chat? What did you get, Bordzy, for Christmas? Don't worry, my birthday is in September. Dylan, let's go Oilers. Cup, yeah.
Cup, yep.
There.
Yep.
Chris Knobloch's in. I swear if Jeff Skinner is in the lineup again. Chris Knobloch, I think you're in some fans' doghouses, especially after last night and how quickly the line blender came out. Everybody else in here, just going up. Lance is in with a simple cup, yeah.
Cup, yep.
There you go. And, yeah, there's a lot of you in here. Troy says, what up, Oil Nation? And then, Brett, do you see the last comment that's in here?
Oh, God.
From our boy Waz says, hey, boys, the colonoscopy went well. So clap it up for Waz. Clap it up for Waz. I wasn't aware that we were telling people that Waz was getting the colonoscopy, but there you go.
Flushed out, pal?
Peel back the curtain. I wonder how it was today. How you feeling? Waz, I actually am a little bit curious. So let me know in the chat. I'm joined pre-gaming, post-gaming all night long, probably on a couple of those games as well, by Cam Lewis, Coombsy, writer here at Oilers Nation Straight Up Beauty. When I saw that it was you and me on the schedule with Brett for this specific Friday night game, we had picked this before we even knew we were doing a Greta event. Coombsy, sometimes the universe just speaks to you.
Yeah, sometimes we just manifest, and we are going to be enjoying quite a few coffees tonight, if you ask me.
I can see a couple coffees in our future for sure. Also, producer Brett Holden behind the scenes. I hear intern Peyton fumbling with the microphone as well while he's doing all that. Brett, the scene behind you, there's a couple more games in there. You're actually sitting directly right next to the X-Men game, I do believe.
Yeah.
You also have 2 beers loaded up in the cup holders that are really not even 1 foot away from you. They are straight up holstered. But Bert, They got new games up in Greta right now. They got $100,000 worth of renovations, new games. They knocked down walls. They took out a freezer, as we learned earlier today. They took out the keg cooler. Don't worry, you did ask. They still have all the kegs, so don't worry. Beers, they're going to be here. But Bert, it's a whole new vibe inside of this bar right now. There's way more room out in the back. There's way more games, and specifically one that you and I, it's going to be tough to watch the Oilers game tonight because they added beer pong here at Greta, and not just basic beer pong, brother. They use anti-gravity, a.k.a. wind, and the ball just shoots up right in front of you, and it floats out, and you can catch and shoot that thing. I'm stepping back into threes, getting into your shooting form. Brett, we only needed to play one game right before this. We did it 5 minutes before. We tied in that game, so we're going to have to keep this going. But, Bert, first, beer pong, always insane, especially inside of a real establishment. But these new games, dude, this place is lit.
It's unbelievable in here, dude. And I also just want to clear the term you used as catch and shoot, because you weren't catching very many.
Shut up. And once you put your hand in the middle of the wind, it's going to mess with the trajectory of the ball. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, totally. No, this is exactly what you said. There's going to be a lot of time standing at that machine tonight. You and I tied. And you gave me a chance to win. We lost the ball.
I gave you a rollback.
I absolutely did, but I think this is going to be a very machine-heavy night tonight.
Yes, sir. Kumsey, when you play beer pong, do you do trick shots with rollbacks?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. I only do it if it's on the table. Now, that's like if it's in my house because I don't want things to get broken. There's nothing better than a free-for-all scramble. That ball's on the floor. Any means necessary that you're going to get that thing back. I don't think that'll happen at Greta, but I do know how competitive that Brett and I tend to get when we do these things. But people, we're here because it's flight night. I've been telling you for about a month straight now. So if you're not here already, then I've said it. Frankly, I don't want you to come on the Nation vacation because all you had to do this evening, buy a $10 ticket at nationgear.ca, mosey on over to Greta for a Friday night Edmonton Oilers game as they take on the New York Islanders. Your $10 ticket gets you into a raffle draw. So we weren't certain how we were going to do this, but we got it locked down, and I get to play my best Bob Barker impression. Come on down because we're doing Oilers Nation Price is Right this evening. So you come down, you get a $10 ticket. We're going to do a raffle draw, and a select few people, we brought whiteboards and everything, are going to play Oilers Nation Price is Right. Shout out our boy Liam Horban, because he prepared 5 big questions that will determine, and it's classic Price is Right rules as well, right? Closest without going over. And the winner of this trivia, this Price is Right, is going to walk out of here with not only a trip for themselves to go on the Nation vacation, but a trip for them and a friend. I'm not very good at math, but I'm pretty sure the price on nationgear.ca is something like $1,700, maybe $1,800. Times that by 2, and you're getting that for a $10 value for coming down to Greta, playing beer pong with Brett and I, crushing beers with Coombsy and I, and then you might walk out of there. Coom, this is insane giveaway.
That's an amazing giveaway. I don't know why everyone's not here right now. I don't know what people are doing on a Friday night when they have a chance to be winning this.
Exactly. I mean, if you still have time, there will always be time to come down here. Kennedy's at the front doors. Open it up. It's a little bit of an early one for an Oilers game. But once again, we're doing this draw, this trivia at the second intermission. So you got plenty of time to come down here. But some things for that trip that I am contractually obligated to mention is that it involves direct flights to Vegas via Flair Airlines. Shout out to Flair. I just flew with them from Arizona. People always say they have issues when you're going with Flair. Shut up, Brett. I don't want to hear it. They always say they have issues when they fly with Flair. I've never had a single issue with them. Knock on wood as I say that. But I'm Joe Cheapo. I can do Flair just fine. It's a 3-night stay at Circa Las Vegas with pool access. That's on Fremont Street. We're going to be doing ONE and a special version of pre-gaming before that Vegas Golden Knights game. And obviously, you're going to the Vegas Golden Knights game. We're watching in the bougie Stella Artois Lounge. It's going to be a real shame how much we stick out like a sore thumb when we're up there. I'm led to believe it is incredibly fancy. Something tells me that Brett and I, at that point in the evening after a full day in Vegas, we're not going to be in our classiest state. Who knows, especially with the Pacific Division on the line. Brett, you stoked?
Trouble It's gonna be trouble. Who wants to join the hooligans?
Yeah, you can't room with us, but Brett and I are gonna be rooming together, so that's gonna be an awesome. You probably don't want to room with us in that situation.
It's gonna be stanky.
It's gonna be yeah, you put it. Yeah, you put it bluntly. I can say that. But Coombsy, we're here for the Edmonton Oilers taking on the New York Islanders. Before that, you might be able to guess what's inside my cup right now, but it's Odd Company Nation Beer Everyday Lager. Perfect for game day, perfect for every day of the week. You can get them 2 locations in the Edmonton area, downtown, or their Ritchie location, or just simply check liquorconnect.com. We were just talking to Kennedy about the Nation vacation before he left the office. Brett said, what is this giant stack of Nation beers doing over here that's unattended? Kennedy said, they might be coming to Vegas with us and bringing them down because wouldn't be game day without Oilers Nation beer every day, a lager. But Coombsy, so it's dark times here, Oilers Nation. If you tuned in to ONE earlier today, I see Lance Kane right here. It was a solemn, dark vibe in there. There was more jokes than usual because if I laugh, I won't cry. If I laugh at it, it will not hurt me. But dark times, obviously last night, the Edmonton Oilers have a lead. In the third period, they start the third period looking beautiful, dude. They had 4 separate hard shifts pinning in the Devils in their own end. You get an Evan Bouchard goal from simply just throwing the puck on net, seeing what happens. The Oilers were physical. Stuart Skinner was looking good. Everything was positive. Then it felt like just all of a sudden, before you knew it, the Oilers allowed 2 goals, traffic in front, Stuart Skinner not able to see them. Coombsy, it's another game where I'm sitting there going, they were the better team. The deserve to win meter was 60% in the Edmonton Oilers' favor. But another game, they simply do not get it done offensively. They only score 2 goals. And another big fat L because the Edmonton Oilers in the last 15 games, they're the worst team in the NHL, tied with the San Jose Sharks. And I keep sitting here. I'm positive. Today, we're going to be extra positive because we're going to keep gassing these beers in here as well. But Coombsy, thoughts on last night? A good effort. Just not good enough.
That's sort of the bad thing is last night was a mediocre game, a middling game, a fine game. They went toe-to-toe with the New Jersey Devils, who are missing Jack Hughes, their number 1 center, and Dougie Hamilton, a top 4, top pairing, potentially defenseman. And
Jonas Siegenthaler.
Yeah, so they're right in the mix with this team who's struggling. They're in a rough spot. The Oilers, this is a team they should be hammering, pounding at this time of the year, but that's not where they are at all. I mean, the game before that, they were right there with the Buffalo Sabres. Not even a full 60-minute game with one of the worst teams in the league. And it looked like they were a match for the Buffalo Sabres. And when you look back at how they played since the end of January, like you said, they're one of the worst teams in the league. So that kind of tracks. This is supposed to be the easier road trip for the Oilers after they faced difficult teams in the last road trip like Washington, Florida, Carolina. In this one, it's all teams that are below them in the standings, ones they should beat, teams that, you know, out of the 4 teams they're going to face, maybe one of them is going to make the playoffs. So, I mean, this is a trip the Oilers should be getting 3 or 4 wins, but they look completely out of sorts, and the trade deadline's passed. So you ask yourself now, what's going to happen? Is this the Oilers have decided they need another coach to be fired in order to wake them up, or what's it going to be? Because it's sort of what they look like now. It looks like the beginning of last season before Woodcroft was fired, or a few years ago before Tippett was fired. They go into this mode where every game, no matter what, they find a way to lose.
Absolutely right. And I mean, my big storyline going into yesterday was looking for the give a shit meter. Do you want him to bring his mic closer to his mouth? Bring your mic closer to your mouth. I'm producing and hosting at the same time.
Trying to do it inconspicuously.
There you go. But the Edmonton Oilers, right? I thought they were the better team yesterday. I thought Stuart Skinner was good in that hockey game for 45 minutes. I mentioned the pucks that he was able to see, he was able to stop. Now, that's an entirely different discussion of, I mean, Brett, do we have the meme in here? Do we have the meme? Because shout out to, I forget, Suicidal Chair is the user on Reddit. What a name. Shout out to them. But it says the stew we have, the stew some of you expect. And that's him trying to bend his neck. But you see the comments, they kind of flip both ways because Stuart Skinner should just be looking the right way from the beginning. I don't know. What'd you think of Stuart Skinner last night? Because I thought he was much better than his, I think it was an 860-something save percentage, 19 stops on 22 shots. Stuart Skinner gave this team a chance to win last night. He's been the whipping boy, very much so recently. But in that game, he was making side-to-side big stops, the timely saves, the big ones that we in this chat have been asking for. But yet again, another L on his record.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. To me, in this game, the Oilers, I think they played largely pretty well in terms of possession, getting shots from the outside, but
They deserve to win a meter, damn it.
But it was New Jersey getting the more difficult chances. They were the team that was getting in front of Stuart Skinner, screening the goalie, picking up the rebounds, doing stuff like that. The Oilers weren't doing that at all. That was sort of the different story in this game. So for Edmonton, as much as sorry, I completely lost my train.
Don't worry, there's a lot happening behind the scenes here as well.
There's so many things going on in the background for me to remember what I was. No, Stuart Skinner, that's what we were talking about.
Good, bad, question mark?
Yeah, in the middle. Like, there's so many things going wrong in that game for the Oilers that they would have needed to have prime Dominic Hasek in between the pipes. They scored 2 goals, and the only line that was generating offense was the McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman line. They're all loading up on one line. Everyone else after that is just pretty much completely gone. So would it have been nice for Stuart Skinner to become prime Dominic Hasek and steal them a game? Yeah, absolutely. It would have been sick. But we're still in the exact same spot if that happens, which is the team doesn't look like a contender at all. They look like a middling playoff team right now, if that.
There's a lack of consistent offense, and that can be for one of many reasons, right? You can say your depth players aren't simply stepping up enough and able to produce some of that consistent offense. But the discussion that's been made aplenty lately is that Chris Knobloch is not even giving these guys a chance. The line blender has been out aplenty lately, and it's been slicing everything up. Arguably nothing more. I don't want to use the word egregious because it worked. Nobby goes to the line blender. He goes 29, 97, and 18. It was very funny. Time tweet for Tyler Remchuk complaining about the blender. I'd argue about 2 minutes in real time after that, Leon Draisaitl scores a goal. But that is the only offense you're getting, and it's getting frustrating here. There's obviously been the Jeff Skinner storyline of he's never getting a consistent shot, but this is applying to several other forwards in the Edmonton Oilers group. The Oilers were at the halfway point of that game yesterday, down 1 goal, and in my opinion, were in full control of that hockey game. They were the better team at that point. Chris Knobloch, I always say break glass in case of emergency. That wasn't an emergency, in my opinion. Yes, it works, and you get the result of the Leon Draisaitl goal, but immediately after that, you see it come at a cost of the rest of the lineup. Nobody else is able to find anything consistent. We know Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, not much of a centerman these days. He plays with Jeff Skinner and Victor Arvidsson. And I don't know if it's just bad timing, less minutes, what it is. I also thought the third line of the Oilers, Rico Podkolzin and Connor Brown, were solid to start that game yesterday. They then get less consistent minutes together there in the third period because we're going so nuclear all the time. They immediately lose their flow, their chemistry and whatnot. Coombsy, people are getting frustrated with Chris Knobloch. Last night on After Dark, I think the most common used phrase in the chat, which take that with a grain of salt, was some form of fire head coach Chris Knobloch, which in my opinion, absolutely batshit insane. You just can't keep kicking the can down the road and continuing to do this. The Edmonton Oilers, the answer's in that room, but Nobby, in my opinion, could be helping this team out a little bit more, letting him let's try 40 minutes of consistent line mates together.
He is doing that thing that Oilers coaches do right before they get fired.
Right, and it's not just him. It's been everybody else.
It's every single coach that comes through. It was Woodcroft, it was Tippett, it was Todd McClellan as well years ago. Even it was with all of them. They kind of wind up in that spot where the team just looks out of sorts, and you break the glass in case of emergency. Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl together, you get that line going, and everybody else is standing there with their mouth open watching the puck and just watching the play, and that's just what happens. The entire rest of the team disengages, and this has been happening. You could pull up a tape from 2017-18, and we could be talking about this. Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl on the same line. The rest of the lineup
can't find depth scoring.
Exactly. Doing
the depth scoring's back.
This is stuff we've been talking about for years, and it's crazy. It can't be the Oilers need the coach to be fired again. It cannot be that we're talking about this again. And another thing, this is just happening again and again and again and again. But the answer for the Oilers has to be in this room because the trade deadline's passed and there's no savior out there to come and just swoop in and make a quick fist.
The answer is coming from that room, but you can just feel the confidence dwindling in this fan base. It feels like in the team. Earlier today, Jason Demers talking about the LA Kings having home ice advantage over the Edmonton Oilers because I hate to tell you, check the standings. They are 1 point up. Oh, God damn it, Brett. 1 point up on the Edmonton Oilers with 1 game in hand. Pacific Division was it was busy last night. Everybody grabbing wins, it feels like, except for the Edmonton Oilers. It's been very negative lately. You just kind of mentioned it there. What No, I don't. I was going to go percent chance that they beat the LA Kings, but no, that's 100%. Because this is exactly the trap that we've been falling into. I've been guilty of it as well. The Edmonton Oilers in a rut. This is still a damn good hockey team, well in a playoff position, fighting for home ice in that first round against the LA Kings. The situation for me, first place was always a pipe dream. The Edmonton Oilers are allergic to Pacific Division titles specifically, but there's still lots to be happy about. We're taking on. I mean, we said some things about the Buffalo Sabres on Monday night on pregame that ended up
any shit.
biting us in the ass.
Can't do it.
No, I refuse to still talk shit because this is a New York Islanders team that the Edmonton Oilers should womp. Damn it, it's Friday night. We're at Greta Bar downtown. You look at their PK numbers, their power play numbers. To me, it does have the vibe of a point night. Look at this team comparison head to head between the Oilers and Islanders. Frame that shit because I have barely seen that all season where the Oilers lead all 4 categories. But Coombsy, that's enough of the negativity. I see Lance. He's subscribing to that theory. He's coming for Rusty's Optimist crown. We're going to gas beers. We're going to be positive. We're going to make bets. Also, Bordzy's bankroll has been struggling a little bit lately. Like, we still went 2 for 3, but it's been a minute since I went 3 for 3. In the interest of changing the vibes, I have switched up how we're doing Bordzy's bankroll tonight. And I'm going to let you, the chat, the viewer, decide where we're spending our money, where we're placing it responsibly, of course. I got 3 different Bordzy bankroll options. 1 for shot props, 1 for goals, 1 for points. So I'm going to have 3 options. We're all going to vote of whose shot prop we like the most. Then we're going to do the same for the goals. Then we're going to do the same for the assists. We're going to squad ride together. Brett, you can also make your spider live on the air if you want.
I already have, and it is filthy.
Creepy crawly spiders. Let's go, brother. But we're changing up the positivity, Coombsy. Because, as I mentioned, New York Islanders, not a very good hockey team. They've been struggling. They've lost 2 straight. They just finished their California road trip. They beat the San Jose Sharks. They lost 4-1 twin games, both to the LA Kings and the Anaheim Ducks. It's been a struggle bus all year. Kind of feels like same old for the New York Islanders. The more things change, the more they stay the same. But they've also been dealt some injuries, man. Matt Barzal was a big loss for my fantasy team, and he's been a big loss for the real hockey team in the New York Islanders. Other goaltender, I mean, we all know Sorokin. He's nasty. He's good. But Semyon Varlamov has been out since November 29th. Noah Dobson was dealing with injuries earlier this season. You look at their numbers, 28th in goals for, 32nd on the power play, 31st on the PK. Looking for the Oil special teams. The power play been rolling. Expect that to keep going. Maybe I should make another Bordzy's bankroll just for power play points. It is fun making the bankroll.
Don't jinx it.
24th in the entire NHL. Weirdly enough, though, because of the way the Eastern Conference playoff picture is going right now, the Islanders are only 5 points out of the last wild card spot. Now, I do believe there is 5 teams that they would have to jump in that little bit of mess. It's been a tough season for them, but weirdly enough, they're still in it.
Yeah, it's surprising to see the Islanders in the mix. It's also surprising. I was looking at their recent history today, and they were in the playoffs last year and the year before that. And to be completely honest,
that's not accurate.
Yeah, like it feels like a thing that didn't happen. Like, I don't remember the Islanders playing a first-round series, honestly, in either of the past 2 seasons. I don't want to sit here and do what we did the other day with the Buffalo Sabres because that came back to bite us in the ass. We said all kinds of things about the Sabres that were true, but we added a little bit of edge and a little bit of humor to it. We were raining on the Buffalo Sabres. We're making fun of them for having missed the playoffs.
Dropping bombs.
Yeah, but with the Islanders, we'll not talk quite as much shit and hopefully not jinx them quite as much. But objectively, they're just sort of a middling team. I mean, they're, like you said, they're in 11th, I think, in the Eastern Conference. They'd have to jump over 5 different teams to make the playoffs. They sold at the trade deadline. They moved Brock Nelson to the Colorado Avalanche. So they know they're kind of punting their season. And to be completely honest, if you look at the Islanders and you look at their roster, a lot of players that are on the wrong side of 30 and a lot of kind of ugly contracts, you have to wonder, is it time for this team to kind of move into a rebuild? But whether that's the case or not is hard to say. It's still the Oilers playing a road game on a Friday early in the evening. There's no such thing as a guaranteed win. We saw that in Buffalo. We saw that in New Jersey. So same thing in Elmont Park, New York tonight.
Ooh. Dude,
I almost said Long Island, but they don't play there
It's
anymore.
been the entire same story this whole season, right? The Oilers can't be taking anyone lightly. We can make the jokes on pre-gaming. We're not a jinx. Looking at you, the viewer back there, but this is a get right spot if I've ever seen one before. And you talk about the Islanders, I laugh because I'm like, Bo Horvat, left the Vancouver Canucks to go over the New York Islanders to compete over there, be in a leadership role. And now this team also out of a playoff spot. So are the Canucks. To mess anything Bo Horvat touches. Now we got a super chat for a special viewer over there wearing a rhinestone jacket. Reminder, all your super chat donations are in support of the Ben Stelter Foundation, a cause incredibly near and incredibly dear to all of our hearts. Was the last time we were here for Brunch for Ben, Brett?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, right?
Yeah.
That was a hell of a day in there. Oilers got absolutely pumped in that one. Looking for a different result, but Lance is in, and he says only posers drink beer out of a coffee cup. It's Oilers Nation Everyday Lager, if you ask me. And Lance, if you want to be an absolute beauty, my beer is empty.
I'm trying to get mine filled up
I could
here,
use another
and
one.
I put it there.
Actually, intern Peyton, you're on that. Lance,
he just kept looking
you
at
stay
it.
exactly where you are. You're doing a
That's
great
what
job.
interns
I can't
for.
use that on the.
No,
You
yeah,
gotta
yeah,
put it in the
pour
cup.
there.
That's why.
Because as you can tell, we are drinking coffee. Let's go now
That's what the coffee
to
cup's
the
for.
Wilhock Beef Jerky Need to Know information courtesy of our friends from Wilhock. Only the finest tasting meat products earn that sweet, sweet Wilhock name. Made from 100% pure Alberta beef. Their jerky is aged, seasoned, smoked, and marinated to savory perfection. They gladly fill orders of any size. You can find their jerky, sausage, and other products exclusively out of their Leduc location. For more information, head to WilhockBeefJerky.com. For as the tagline says, get your jerky on, people. The Edmonton Oilers. Brett, pull it up one more time. The standings here for the Pacific Division, because the Oil now sit third in the division. 7 points, I believe, back of the Vegas Golden Knights, 1 back of the LA Kings. And the unfortunate part, the LA Kings still have 1 game in hand. Pacific Division, like I mentioned, was in action last night. The Vegas Golden Knights shut out the Columbus Blue Jackets by a score of 4-0, while the LA Kings shut out one of the best teams in the entire NHL, the Washington Capitals, by a score of 3-0. And that would be the LA Kings' 4th straight victory. Edmonton and the Vegas Golden Knights each have 17 games remaining on their schedule. LA has game in hand over both of those squads. LA has 2 matchups here left with the Edmonton Oilers. I believe one is a home game, one is a road game, both of them in April. Buckle up, buckaroo, because those ones are going to be incredibly important for home ice advantage in the first round of the NHL playoffs. And as for lineup news of note, the Edmonton Oilers obviously played in a back-to-back second half of so tonight, so they didn't have their morning skate. We should be getting information right about now in just a couple minutes. Obviously, we will let you know when we know those things, but what we do know, Calvin Pickard going to be in the crease for the Edmonton Oilers. Stu played last night. Picks gets the start tonight. Last game it was against the Anaheim Ducks. Was quite awful, if you ask me. Allowed 4 goals on 11 shots. But it's the New York Islanders. We're confident in Calvin Pickard.
I think we're feeling a bit better. I think maybe
these are back to the cherry pick matchups.
Yeah, because what we did before was they were leaning into Calvin Pickard having a good game against the Carolina Hurricanes on the road, and they thought, all right, we're going to lean into that momentum. You're going to play again at home against the Anaheim Ducks. Did not work. Calvin Pickard isn't a hot hand starting goalie. He's the backup goalie, and you give him certain situations, and that's how he rolls. So this is one of those games they picked for him. It'll be Cal Pickard going up against the New York Islanders. They're not a team that has a tremendous amount of offensive firepower, like we said earlier. Matt Barzal's injured, and he's kind of the player the offense goes to. And Brock Nelson, another one of their better scorers, was traded to the Colorado Avalanche. So this is a New York Islanders team, one of the lowest in the league at scoring goals this season, and they've, of course, lost a big scoring weapon. So shouldn't be a difficult game for the Oilers.
Knock on wood, dude. The more you kept talking there, I was like, so
feels like the Islanders are going to put
take the under on the Calvin Pickard saves. But no, we're being positive. We got that positive energy. Still looking for that beer from Lance over there. Brett, also, Calvin Pickard was kind of in, I guess, the Oilers Nation social circles this past week. Brett, you're on a lot of our social posting as well. Another name always mentioned in the comments, one Dustin Schwartz. Who's that, you might ask? Well, he's the Edmonton Oilers goalie coach and has been for quite some time. Brett, tell the folks what Calvin Pickard said.
Yeah,
this is the Oilers goalie. This ain't us.
Yeah, so the guy who's in the locker room working directly with, I don't know if you heard of him, Dustin Schwartz. I don't know.
Who?
New guy. But he said, Calvin Pickard, said on the Jason Greger show that him and Schwartz see eye to eye. Like they as Calvin Pickard said after his last start against the Anaheim Ducks, he's like, I allowed 4 goals on 0 shots. And it's not like I went home and woke up the next morning and said, we have to change everything. In fact, we're not going to change anything. We're just going to adjust the way that I played certain things. There were certain things that I needed to save, stuff like that. Listen, I played goalie, and I still think it's voodoo. That's why I changed to defense, and would like to think I have a pretty decent eye for defense and goaltending, but I'm not. And there's a reason why there's a guy like Dustin Schwartz in the organization who has a job. Like, let's be real. He has a job. Whether it's good or he's good or bad at it, that's beyond my pay grade. I'm just here with my hair looking freaking crazy because I have a headset over top, and if I don't, I look like
can't
a
even
naked
see
mole
the
rat.
headset.
I know, exactly. It's pretty good. So, like, all we can really do is take these players who are working with them every single day, waking up, getting texts from them. What are we going to do today? How do you feel about this? And if he sees eye to eye and feels comfortable, great. But then you don't get to also sit there and go, and I'm not talking about Calvin Pickard. I'm talking about a lot of the people who are going, well, I've never met Dustin Schwartz in my life.
There it is.
I
There's a
don't
voice.
know.
Let's go.
I don't know what he looks like, but I know he's a bad goaltending coach. This guy's sitting there going, we see eye to eye. I appreciate what he does. This has been a guy who's dealt with a lot of goalie coaches in his career. It's not exactly like he's been the most stable in his career in one spot. He's dealt with a lot of goalie coaches and coaches in general. This was also a guy that 2 weeks ago we were sitting there going, oh my God, shit, this guy might be our number 1 goalie. This might be our 1A. And now as soon as he sat there and said, I like working with the goaltending coach, we're cut from the same cloth, everyone goes, oh, that's why your save percentage is under 900, buddy. It's like you don't get to move the goalposts to fit your narrative. You just do not. It's one or the other. And up until that Anaheim game, Calvin Pickard had a save percentage over 900. That was fantastic. I had no idea what's going on.
Game there. It's Greta, baby. It's Friday night at Flight Night.
That's what Greta's all about. But just to wrap up here, Calvin Pickard, guy who's spent all day. Oh, my God. Hello. That was where my hand was.
Lance Kane's being a beaut right now.
Absolutely. Guy who works with Dustin Schwartz every day, all day. Likes what he's working with and working on, and to be honest, it's helped him stay consistent in one space for quite a while. It seems like something's working specifically for Calvin Pickard.
Yeah, well, Laser says Schwartz is a bozo.
Oh,
so what do you know? And right, once again, we've already spent too much time on Dustin Schwartz because, in fact, does
anyone talk about their goalie coach like this?
I would have
nobody.
Literally
nobody.
In baseball, people talk about hitting and pitching coaches like this, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's normal in
Pete
hockey for any hockey
Shout
fan
out
to
me.
talk about their goalie coach like this much.
Like, it's insane. You can say he's a bozo. I get it if you're doing it tongue-in-cheek and you're being funny. There's a level of just being real we all have to address. None of us know what goes down in that room. None of us know how to play goalie. None of us even know what entails in being a goalie coach. So we always got to sit back, and if Calvin Pickard himself is telling you that he is a good goalie coach, Brett, good point in saying he's also had a shit ton of goalie coaches in his career. I'm going to take him at his word because Calvin Pickard, I do believe in you. Also, gentlemen, shout out to Lance Kane. Shout out. Cheers. Shout out. Shout out if you're at home or watching here at Greta.
Oh, monsieur.
Oh, I'm winning a fucking flight to Vegas, baby.
Mon
Let's go.
ami.
No, I'm not allowed to win that flight. Also, we did get some super chats in here. Colton's in. I'm just going to try and move that over there. He says, last year, post-game 7, devastated and teary-eyed. I placed a $100 future on the Oilers to win the cup this year. It was a cup year.
Cup year.
Then, and it is a cup year.
Cup year.
Now. Also, Chris Knobloch popped in. He said the group loves watching this show before a game. Got to get the boys hyped. They're watching us crush beers. If you win tonight, Oilers, you can hit the Big Apple and have a positive Friday night out. Doesn't come very often. Erickson just gave us $20 without saying anything, so clap it up. Eric, I will give you the next comment I see with your name on it. Contractually obligated to read that one out loud. And then it's the Queen. Clap it up again. Tammy is in with $15. Says I will be at Prince George Cougars WHL game tonight and won't be able to pop in, we will win tonight. I feel it, boys. Stick taps and hearts for Ben always. The only thing she's missing, cup, yeah.
Cup, yep.
Lance and Sergeant Battle are in-person cup years. It just, everything's right in the world. And as I said, it's all positive energy from here on out for the Edmonton Oilers. I was still in the middle of need to know information. We got sidetracked for the Islanders. They are 29, 28, and 7, 6th in the Metro, but like I said, 5 points out of a playoff spot. Just went through California. But Matt Barzell's not going to play in this hockey game. Varlamov's not as well. And then Adam Boquist is also not expected to play in the hockey game. Their offense is sputtering since February 1st. They ranked 26th in goals per 60, also 25th in goals against per 60. Bottom dwellers of the NHL. They have scored 3 or fewer goals in 16 of their last 20 games, and they have allowed 4 or more goals in 9 of their last 13. So if you're ever looking for a get-right spot to see some depth scoring and see the Oilers offense come through, I pray to God you do it against this team in a Friday night when we're going to be inevitably a couple beers deep on this post-game show, and hopefully we're positive. We're not sad drunk. And then, of course, Ilya Sorokin, he's the main man with Semyon Varlamov out. He started 17 of their last 19 hockey games, 24, 20, and 4 record, 277 goals against with a 905 save percentage, which, as Liam pointed out earlier today on ONE, is the lowest save percentage of his entire career. Boy, oh boy, what a good problem to have, especially with that defense and that penalty kill in front of him. Let's go now. Sherwood Ford Giant storyline brought to you by Sherwood Ford, the Giant. Hockey fans helping hockey fans. Free valet service for all Oilers Nation fans. You get an exclusive swag package with every Nation valet service that's booked online. And also, if you buy your vehicle there, you can get $500 towards a vehicle service plan. Oilers Nation fans, your hockey destination, be Sherwood Ford. So my storyline kind of going in this, it's simply just time to get back to work. Time to quit fucking around. Excuse my language, but it's Friday night against the New York Islanders, game 3 of a 4-game road trip. These aren't the toughest opponents you've ever seen on an Eastern road trip, even though the Oilers might have you thinking that right now. They've been struggling to score. Well, this team loves to give up some goals in the New York Islanders. I just said 4 or more in 9 of their last 13 games. It's a get-right spot through and through. My key to victory, I wrote down. You see it? Bolded? Everything. The Oilers pull up the head-to-head once again, Brett. They lead them in every major statistical category. I don't want to call the Islanders dead man walking because that didn't work very well Monday against the Buffalo Sabres. Obviously, they still have pride. They're still NHL players. But the Edmonton Oilers, you got to play pissed off, play angry. They did look more physical yesterday in the first period against the New Jersey Devils. I hate that we're bringing it back, but the give-a-shit meter needs to be ratcheted up to 1,000 Friday night. And then reward yourself. You're probably not Friday night in the Big Apple very often. You win, you can have beers. You lose, you're not allowed to do anything. The other question I had, do you think the Oilers switch hotels from this game to the next game? Because the next one's against the New York Rangers. I don't really know the geographics of New York.
You'd think, right? Because they're not going to stay at a hotel in New Jersey the whole time and then be. But what is
but
the
then
best
when
way
you're,
to?
I don't know. Let me know in the chat. But if you have a storyline, key to victory, anything, win.
Yeah, just win, baby. Storyline for me in this one is we talked about this already quite a bit, but the line stacking with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. So the story ultimately is: are those two going to be on a line together? How much time will they see together? Do we just get lines?
Oh
wow, we just got lines.
I'm
shit,
bringing
brother.
it in right now.
That's amazing timing. This is the story of the game right now for me. It's depth scoring. Are the Oilers going to get goals from multiple different lines in this game? The blender is out, and we've got something crazy.
Oh,
Some crazy
baby,
stuff.
the blender
You
is out.
couldn't guess this if you tried, and you can go ahead and try and guess what this is.
I know our boy Tyler Remchuk's going to be pretty happy about this. I actually had this as a segment written down here, but Brett, throw it up whenever you get it ready and you're good to go. But the Edmonton Oilers, they got new line combinations tonight. I'll just read them to you because the top line, it's Adam Henrique's night. Adam Henrique, Rico Suave. Top line left wing spot with Connor McDavid and Zachary Martin Hyman. Your second line. Oh, that switched up too, baby. It's Corey Perry on the left wing with Leon Draisaitl and Connor Brown, number 28, because Why not? I see your third line, Vasily Podkolzin, with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins manning the middle of the ice and Victor Arvidsson on that third line on the right wing. And then your fourth line, because, of course,
This is punishment.
at least he's in the lineup. Jeff Skinner playing Eric Kapanen as the center and Matthias
This
Janmark
might be worse
as
than
the
being
right
healthy
wing.
scratched.
I'm having sensory overload right now because there's so many things here that we need to talk about. But first things first, dude, Adam Henrique getting a shot with Connor McDavid on the top line. This is a drum that our boy Tyler Remchuk has been banging on for 1-2 weeks by now at this point. Those two had scored 9 goals in 87 minutes together at 5v5 last year in the regular season and the playoffs. That is a very small sample size, but it looked pretty good. And we know with Adam Henrique, he had 24 goals combined between the Ducks and Oilers last season when he was playing top 6 minutes. I've argued this recently on Pregaming. We're saying, could it really get worse? Knock on wood as I say that. But Ryan Nugent-Hopkins been struggling offensively in that very spot. Adam Henrique struggling in that third line center spot. You've been changing up everything else with this line blender. Why not switch that one up? So, all right, at least he's blending before the game.
Yeah, the Oilers need to find a winger that can bury some goals next to Connor McDavid. It hasn't been happening for Zach Hyman at the same rate as in previous seasons, and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins hasn't been producing offensively at the same rate that we've expected on Connor McDavid's wing. So they're basically switching the two of them in spots. Adam Henrique this year, the offense just hasn't been there in the third/fourth line center position. It's almost like Adam Henrique as the center right now has become Eric Belanger of the Oilers of the early 2010s. And moving him back to the wing might bring to life.
Derek Roy will solve it. He did solve it.
Bring back Neil Yakupov, baby.
Yeah, he's the Neil Yakupov whisperer. And if you just let him rip with Derek Roy for a few months, he'll become an NHL player. That's all it takes.
Corey Perry, I got absolutely no issue with being on the second line left wing. He's earned it. He's deserved it. And with the way the Oilers have looked, fuck it, dude. Why not switch it up? But the other one, Connor Brown getting upgraded to the top 6 to play with Leon Draisaitl. Sure, he's got the speed. He's great on the penalty kill. He's great defensively. The last time I checked, top 6 was supposed to be burying goals, and I don't want to shit on a guy in Connor Brown. He's having a much more productive season than it was last year. That'll tell you something. But Connor Brown, thoughts on him quickly here, getting upgraded to the second line to play with Leon Draisaitl.
I think he's just sort of the back checker on this line because
Yeah.
I mean, Leon Draisaitl's a great season defensively, and Corey Perry's 39 years old. You can only expect him to do so much. If he's making things happen in the offensive zone, you can't expect him to be, running track meet and getting back as the first forward back. So that's going to be Connor Brown's job on this line. Just, skate around, go to the net, skate back, be the back checker on this line.
And then the other part that just confuses the absolute shit out of me, neither of them are a centerman in Kasperi Kapanen and Matthias Janmark. If I had to argue one of them who has been better, more consistent down the middle of the ice, I would say it's been Matthias Janmark, but weirdly enough, Kasperi Kapanen getting that spot. No surprise that Jeff Skinner is sitting there on the fourth line, but thoughts on the Kapanen-Janmark alignment?
I have a hard time understanding why Kasperi Kapanen is playing center here. Matthias Janmark at least has some experience playing center. I think if for the Oilers, I don't really understand why they're not using this opportunity to see if Noah Philp can do anything. I understand that he got a handful of games and he wasn't amazing, but at least he's a natural center, and I'm not really sure what Kasperi Kapanen's adding in that non-natural position.
Once again, I think he's had a tough game the last one. He was healthy scratch before that. It's been tough sledding here for Kasperi Kapanen lately, which leads to, I hate that I was just thinking it, but Sasky Girl Oil fan says, boy,
well, that's when
wish
everything's
we
ever
had
going to
Derek
shit.
Ryan now. If we look, somebody crunched the numbers because you've seen it online. Since the Oilers sent Derek Ryan down, here's the oil. Boom.
He was the answer.
We keep
No
talking,
Tyratty, though.
We keep talking about how we want to stop Chris Knobloch from hitting the blender. I think he's been blended in a couple margaritas, dog. This is fucking insane. I am so sorry.
This is somebody just put jokingly in the chat, but pick names out of a hat. I know it's obviously not that. The Adam Henrique thing, I am in favor of that. I understand that. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, you just simply haven't been good enough lately. And if everybody else in this lineup below Nuge is to be held accountable, be healthy scratch, be demoted, the same needs to apply to Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. So I'm okay with Rico. Connor Brown, that's but once again, in the two eloquent words I've put it, fuck it. Let's move along now to the starting goaltender report, brought to you by Sherwood Power Sports and Marine. They got their Price Law event going on right now with all kinds of savings. They're also going to be at the Edmonton Boat and Sportsman Show, March 20th to 23rd. Separate booth for automotive stuff, other one for specifically fish and tackle gear. Also, keep your eyes peeled. I always love seeing it. Sherwood Power Sports Marine runs a commercial during every Edmonton Oilers hockey game. It's fantastic. Shout out to the staff. They're great in the commercial. They're even better with their customer service. It's Calvin Pickard against Ilya Sorokin in this game. Calvin Pickard, 15-7-0 record with a 2.76 goals against, 896 save percentage. It's kind of funny to me. Calvin Pickard, 2 weeks ago, was anointed the 1A because Stuart Skinner sucked so much. Plays against the Anaheim Ducks, allows 4 goals against. And then we post that Dustin Schwartz clip saying he agrees with Schwartz in the comments. I'll save you the time. They all say, yeah, well, you suck too, Calvin Pickard. And that's why. No, Calvin Pickard is a backup goalie through and through.
He's fine.
896, totally fine.
We've seen him be
2.76 goals
completely
against.
fine. He helped them win a playoff series last spring. What else do you want from your
Once
backup
again,
goalie?
it's a tired discussion. Ilya Sorokin on the other side, 4 games above 500, currently with a 905 save percentage. We got to go through here the New York Islanders lineup because we got to make some bets together, people. So let's go now. Islanders lineup brought to you by Greta Bar Yeg, my favorite spot in the entire city. And in fact, while that graphic is up, maybe I can pour something into my coffee cup, into Greta Corp. Okumzi wants a little bit as well. But Greta, my favorite spot in the entire city. And as I've mentioned, just did $100,000 worth of renovations to this bar. It's an entirely different vibe. And selfishly, all I can think about, quote my boy Step Brothers here, but there's so much more room for activities all over this bar. You've seen maybe on socials, maybe you've come down to Greta before. Bordzy likes to get up on chairs and get up on the bar and start screaming and throwing stuff. I got so much more room to do all that stuff. Incredible hijinks could ensue. Let's take a peek now. Bert, throw it up for me. Bort. Need more Bort license plates.
Bort.
The New York Islanders lineup. Top line, Anthony Duclair with Bo Horvat and Kyle Palmieri.
Horvat?
Bo Bortvat? Hey, Bo's here as well now. Second line, Anders Lee with J.G. Pajot and Simon Holmstrom. Third line, Hudson Fashing with Casey Cizikas. And this is my moment. We talked about this earlier on O&E. Maxim Siplikov.
Bang.
Bang! Give me a double bang. Double bang.
Bang! Siplikov!
Scores, as Peyton would say. Fourth line, Pierre Engvall with Kyle McLean, who we discovered his father works for the team. Questionable. Father's name also John McLean. Shout out diehard. Fourth line finishes with Mark Gatcombe. And then your deep pairings, Alex Romanoff with Tony D'Angelo. That's right.
Why is it the top?
Noah Dobson with Adam Pellick, Scott Mayfield with Ryan Pulak. It was funny because when Ty went through this earlier, he's the face of Daily Faceoff, or one of two faces. He goes, yo, DFO. You might have those lines lined up a little bit wrongly there for the decor, but Coombsy, you look at the squad, they struggle to score goals. They struggle on the power play and on the penalty kill. One guy that I know, he's going to be a player to watch simply because he's going to be on the ice a shit ton tonight, but that is one Noah Dobson. He's dealt with some injuries. He was on the bubble for the Team Canada roster, much like an Evan Bouchard is. I'd argue he probably has his game a little bit more rounded into form than Evan Bouchard. Thoughts on Noah Dobson? Hell of a player.
Yeah, I mean, that's somebody on the Islanders to watch, certainly.
That's kind of what we're getting at here.
That's a notable
so
name
he's a player
that people would recognize. We also have notable names such as Bo Horvat, Kyle Palmieri,
Kyle McLean,
Anders Lee. These are notable names. These are New York
See,
Islanders.
this is when we're going to get stomped because we're talking shit.
I can guarantee to you that these players exist.
Bert, who's your player to watch if you had to pick one out here?
I am going with Maxim Siplikov. I love Siplikov. I think he's a big boy. He'll smack a couple dudes. He'll score a couple goals. And a rookie. I really like watching Maxim Siplikov play.
You've never watched Maxim Siplikov.
I knew how to say his name because of Brett.
Shockingly enough, I watch hockey, baby.
No, you don't.
That
Yes,
guy
I
watches
do.
puck. That guy pucks.
This guy pucks so
This
hard.
guy pucks hard. Pops himself on the camera. Casually after that, when I go through that lineup, I mean, for me, I would probably just go Bo Horvat. I mean, it's kind of a cop-out, but Come on, he's a good player. We
Oh,
know that
Bordat.
here as he lived in the Pacific Division. But on the year, 20 goals, 23 assists for 43 points. The Islanders offense, dude, just looking at this right now in front of me, Anders Lee leads the team in points. He has 45 in 64 games played. That's their leading scorer on this team. Once again, why am I doing this? You think I'd learn from this?
They're going to score 7 goals tonight now.
You're damn right there. No, they're not. We're positive. We're betting puck line, and we're going to bet a couple other things because this is time for Bordzy's Bankroll Loser Edition, Vibe-Changing Edition. Also, shout out Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. Over there, download the app today. Use the promo code NATION, NATION. So as I said off the hop, we're doing this differently. Lance, Battle, get your phones ready. I need you to vote in this as well. So instead of just giving you 3 picks and telling, this is what I'm rolling with, we're going to bet them separately, I wanted to ask you, the viewer, for a little bit of help. We need vibe change. Also, I said gassing beers was going to change the vibes. Oh, brother, it's doing something. But let's throw it up here first. I made one let's do shot props first. We'll do shot props. So here's your 3 options, Brett. This kind of puts you a little bit more work. He just rolled his eyes at me.
Brett
He's upset
loves
with me. Brett loves working hard. You got 2 beers in front of you.
He's a workaholic.
I've never worked in my life.
But 3 options here, and I want you in the chat to vote, and that's what we're going to determine being my 3 picks for Bordzy's Bankroll. So your first one, Leon, just a simple 3 shots on goal. It's minus 170. This dude, I don't need to tell you, keeps ripping the pill, keeps scoring goals. He's on a 16-game point streak right now at this moment. I think it's 24 or 25 points over that stretch. Tough not to bet on him there, but it's minus 170. The other one, Bouchard, 3 shots, minus 130. And then Zachary Martin Hyman, also with a twin, minus 130. Coom, if you had to pick one of these, values are a little different. Which one you rolling with?
I'm going to go the Leon Draisaitl one. Feels like an automatic.
And right, it does kind of feel that way, Brett. I'm just pulling up the YouTube here as well. We'll give him all a couple of minutes. Bouchard, surprisingly, so this was brought up on ONE lately. The Edmonton Oilers have been faltering lately. And I'd say in the last week and a half here, it hasn't been because of Evan Bouchard and some glaringly obvious mistakes. There's obviously some effort issues in and out there, but thoughts on Bouch game lately? He's been ripping the pill, that's for sure.
He looks like he's kind of on the way up. It's still not the top
that's
game.
A good description.
It's not
that's,
the top. Yeah, it's not the top style game that we've seen from him in the past. I think him with Jake Wallman's kind of unlocked a bit of a different look. I know that Matthias Ekholm and Evan Bouchard's kind of been the pairing since that trade was made now a couple of years ago, but getting him with somebody else, another puck mover, has given him sort of a different look. And I think Bouchard, he looks like he's on the verge of a hot streak. The defense is still not the best, of course, but the offense looks better. He looks more comfortable with the puck, especially in the offensive zone when he's got the puck at the blue line.
He looked calmer, and he's looking like we've heard it multiple times in the broadcast. No, Darnell Nurse did the same thing the other game, taking a little bit off in the offensive zone, just trying to get that puck on net. That's how you create your second and third chance opportunities. Drop my notes there in front of me, but looking for more of that from Evan Bouchard. It's been tough because I took a game off. Like, I took some games off the shot prop, and then I came back onto it, and that was the only game in, like, his last 6 that he didn't hit his prop, and he had a big fat bagel on the evening for that one. Brett, quickly, you rolling with Leon Draisaitl because it would appear the chat is as well.
I'm going with Boosh. Ooh, maybe part of the spider.
Ooh, Lance, what'd you vote? Leon Draisaitl or Bouchard? Bouchard. Battle, what about you? Leo. Well, that doesn't help me at all, people, but I see the chat. We're going 75%. We're locking in Leon Draisaitl's shot prop at over 2.5 at minus 170. Now, Bert, the next one I got up, it's point props. So we're rocking here. This one you went with the obvious 2 dogs of the Edmonton Oilers, but it's for 2+ points for each of them. So Leon, 2+ points. It's been juicier all season, I'd argue. For what reason? Bet365. He's been leading this team all year. That's a juicy plus 125, but McDavid, 2+ points at minus 110. And then I also threw the inevitable of these 3 get thrown together and go nuclear. Their line mate in Zachary Martin Hyman, 1+ point at minus 140. Coombsy, you go in Leon for 2, Connor for 2, or Hyman for 1.
Zach Hyman 1 point's just jumping out. That seems like something that's going to happen. It seems like you never want to say something's an automatic or that something's a guarantee because that's not a thing, but feels like something that's inevitable.
I feel like, and once again, that one is the worst value of them all at minus 140, but Hymes has been looking a little bit better for me personally. There's no way I can't. You put plus sign with 125 next to Leon Draisaitl's name and 2 points. I don't make the rules, people. I just follow him. I'm smashing Leon Draisaitl. Brett, what about you?
Plus chaser. You know what? I can't lie. I am feeling Himes tonight. I don't know why, but I'm just feeling Himes tonight.
And the fact that I'm locking eyes with Lance right now and he just typed Hyman 1 point. Maybe, hey, if you want to get crazy out there at home, it's not the parlay we're building, but if you want to throw a little bit extra in, Lance always throws in money line, which tends to screw him from time to time when following Bordzy's bankroll. If we're not always confident in the W tonight, feel free to throw in money line. I see it there. Brett, lock it in. Leon Draisaitl for 2+ points with 60% of the vote. And then the third and final, we're going for goals. And this one, I've kind of got your eyes shifting to one specific person on this one. You make whatever decision you want to make. That's your eyes that are doing it on your own. But goal scorer choices are Leon, anytime goal, and an even plus 100. That's insane value. Dude's on a 16-game point streak, 47 goals now on the season? I don't know. I can't even keep track. Either way, he's very close to 50. The other one is Connor McDavid on the other side, a plus 110 for an anytime goal. He's in the Big Apple. Big-time players make big-time plays. It might not be MSG, but it's still the big. The other one, if you got a glimpse at Adam Henrique's interview earlier today, boy, oh boy, it was only from right about nip up, but damn it, those traps, those delts were looking fantastic. He was also talking about how he thought this team, depth scoring, we need to bring it. We can't always rely on the big guys. I picked this before he was announced to be on the top line with Connor McDavid. Southpaw, couldn't have said it better myself. Hornreek is all I have eyes for.
Now Black saw him in the interview not wearing a shirt, and he was like,
believe me, I tried to lower that photo a little bit on the graphic, but I mean, it leaves it up to the imagination, and I'm sure reality's even better than that. Kumzi, which of these three is scoring a goal?
I'm going to go with the Henrique anytime.
Damn right you are.
He feels like he's got a certain amount of self-confidence, and he's got the chest hair going. So
I just ripped my shirt open right now. Bert, obviously Leon, he's on fire. Connor McDavid, I'm expecting a big performance from him. It's tough if I already thought of this with the photo before he was announced being on the top line. Once again, don't make the rules. Feel like this is the universe. Do so responsibly at Bet365.
Yeah, I'm kind of, you know what? You're probably right. It's all the way there for you. It might be Henrique.
So many jokes to make.
It might be Henrique. It might be him. I mean, 29 is probably a given, and if it's an absolute rock show, I'm sure that 97 is going to get in there too. But if we're going to win this game, if you're going to see Edmonton win this game, it's going to be depth guys like Henrique scoring this goal.
You're damn right it is. Okay, so in closing, let's check in with the chat. They went with Leon anytime goal. So I'm going to follow it along. So what were the three votes? Leon anytime goal.
It's Leon all the way.
Leon 2 points and Leon shots. We're doing the Leon parlay tonight. Let's see as I put this all together.
I love
2 points, 3 shots, and I need a goal scorer anytime. The Leon parlay is only plus 260. Bet365, subscribing to what we are as well. But believe me, during all that, I threw down on an Adam Hornreek goal at plus 550 because that's way too juicy not to do it. Before we head out, I got to host an event because I got to give away a trip for 2 to the Nation Vacation Viva Las Vegas. Kumzi, score prediction, anytime goal scorer, and why is it a shirtless Adam Henrique?
I think it's going to be 6-5 for the Oilers. It's going to be a weirdo Friday night game, and I think Adam Henrique's going to score because he was looking real horned up before the game.
He sure was. Bet the over, Brett. What about you?
I want something heavy. I want it to be nasty. I want it to be 8-2. And Jay Skins. Jay Skins goal, which is
it's 7 minutes of ice time,
which is part of the spider, which I
give me a spider.
It's okay. It's not fantastic.
Go
you know
quick,
what? You're right. It is fantastic. I'm going to tell you anyways. It is Oil money line.
Bang.
Over one, half a point for Bush.
Bang.
Over 1 goal for Skinner. Thank you.
Sure. Live your life, son.
Over 2.5 shots for McDavid.
Bang.
Himes also getting a goal.
Bang.
Bush getting over 2.5 shots.
Bang.
Over 4.5 goals in the game.
Whoop.
And Darnell over 2.5 blocks. What up, cuz?
Let's go. We got some tattoos on the line. I appreciate you all. Thank you for tuning in to Pregaming with Bordzy. Thank you for coming out to Greta. I'm seeing a number of Edmonton Oilers jerseys because they know And it's not too late. We're doing it at the second intermission. We're giving away some Oilers Prices Right to give away a trip for two to the Nation Vacation. Brett, final. You said 8-2?
Yep.
Okay, for me, I'm going to go. It's a get right spot. 5-2 for the Edmonton Oilers. Adam Hornreek horns up the entire fan base. Yeah, Brett got me feeling nice. Yeah, I appreciate you all. Shout out to our sponsors. Sherwood Ford, The Giant, Sherwood Power Sports and Marine, Greta Bar Yag, Bet365, Wilhawk Beef Jerky. Also come to Greta March 29th when What Chaos is going to be here live, right in the flesh, in this little cubicle thing that we're in. Also, Kumzi, kind of upsetting we're not doing the show live from a bed.
Yeah, we should be laying down in the bed right now with sore lower backs.
Should we just slowly lean in as the camera cuts away? No. You got to tune into Oilers Nation After Dark for that stuff. I love you all. I appreciate you all. Good luck on the Bet365 Battlegrounds. The Leon Parlay is alive and well. Peace out, everybody.